came close.
So. I believe this is working. Just so you know. Okay. So the time is 6:02, and I call the April 23rd Board of SelectmenMeeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first, I'll recognize that we have our Look Who's Serving bulletin board for residents in town that are serving in any military branch. And we've had 2 new people added. So I just want to recognize Matthew Henry Wise, 2024, with United States Marine Corps First Lieutenant, and John Thomas Patton, 2024, United States Marine Corps First Lieutenant.
And we thank them for their service.
And if anyone has any volunteer residents pictures, then put on our Look Who's Serving now. We are getting ready to update it. So.
That would be active duty, Guard, and Reserve.
Yeah.
Good. Someone who currently wears a uniform for official military reasons.
Yeah. Citizen comments. Did you want approval of minutes from March 28th?
Just this moment.
Uh,
Second motion to approve minutes.
So motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from March 28th. Is there any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, they're approved. Correspondence.
Entertainment portion of the program.
All right, so I received from the Connecticut Judicial Branch Office of Victim Services just a notice of Connecticut Victims National Crime Victims' Rights Week 2024, which starts Monday, April 22nd. So, or the week of the 21st, actually. So they have some Zoom meetings if anyone's interested in attending about their different programs. And they also have a social media campaign going on and asked if we would just share their services. So I will try and put some of those on our social media network. I received an email from Eversource. They want to apply for the Connecticut Connected Communities Grant Program organized by the state of Connecticut. It's a competitive grant program that aims to address the digital needs of Connecticut residents and businesses. In order to include our town in their application, they are required to have a letter of support signed by me. Municipalities can sign multiple letters of support for multiple applications, and there is no cost to the municipality whatsoever. There's no cost, again, no cost to municipalities. The best part is this initiative will be implemented again at no cost. How many times?
3, I'll keep a tally of it. It's 3 new costs.
Just like your Eversource like fees are going up, but this is no cost to the town. Comcast, our capital, and the state via federal funding will be making the investment. It's time sensitive, so if we want Comcast to do anything according that they get their grant funds within Voluntown, then we have to write a letter of support.
So is this Eversource or is this Comcast?
You know what? It's Comcast.
Okay, I was confused. I'm like,
No,
why is
it's Comcast.
Eversource is now getting it on
No.
internet access? Okay.
It's Comcast. I'll put the on bottom of the Comcast thing. So it's
Yeah.
Comcast.
So this is Comcast
This is Comcast.
trying to put the pressure on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think they just want to apply for they want to apply for this grant to get money to improve, for them it's to improve the broadband to like towns like ours, because we're on a list of underserved. And so they're saying that if we want them to spend the money in town to do anything, then we just have to write a letter of support. So they'll actually do anything in town because, I don't know.
So I
And
recommend,
their letter, their template letter, I don't know if I would actually, I would probably just shorten it a little and just say, we support them spending money in town to help our residents. But
I would recommend against it for Comcast for the simple fact that, no matter how much money Comcast gets on this grant, not a dime of it is likely to wind up here in Volunteer.
I know.
An improvement in services. So I think helping Comcast do a cash grab is not something we should support.
Okay,
That's my recommendation.
well, I've been trying, I don't know. I know a lot of residents have complained about their connectivity in town and they haven't seemed like they really care about fixing it. So, I don't know. Because I have that problem. So.
I don't think Comcast really gives a hoot about it.
Okay, that's what I thought too. Okay, so we don't have to send a letter of support.
And if you're watching Comcast, you're welcome.
Okay.
I
that's
mean, just, but on the other hand, just play devil's advocate. What harm is there in signing the letter? Maybe they might spend an extra $100.
Well, I
But
can-
it's money that could be used by other groups that might actually do something, even if it doesn't directly affect us. I think Comcast doing a cash grab for this grant is going to reduce the likelihood of others who actually might do something with the grant. So
Yeah, like I think that they'll probably use it to fix stuff, but I don't know, like, I can't guarantee that they would actually use it. So. And they want me to say that Comcast is an extremely valuable company and partner with the town of Wallington, which
you go.
which relies heavily on Comcast infrastructure. They have continually invested in their network, providing a fast, secure, and reliable product that can meet the growing businesses of our residents' needs.
It cannot, and they have
I
not.
don't really think that's true.
It is not true in the slightest. So
That's the only reason why I would say no, because I'm not gonna sign my name to that.
Decline.
I will write my own and say, please, like, you know.
It would be nice if
I think it
Comcast
would be
would do
nice if
something.
we could fix the lines in town because they're so messed up from all the trees knocking them down over and over again, but, you should probably be doing that anyway with all the money you're getting from my taxpayers, so, that's what I would write. Sorry, Comcast, but. Okay, so we can just take a letter or not do anything, if we don't do it. Veterans Day in July, they're having a fundraiser. They're doing a raffle because they came in to get a raffle permit, Saturday, July 13th, at 10 a.m., hosted by Friends of Patchogue Forest, and Veterans Crisis Line and Veterans of Connecticut.
So it's Friends of Patchogue who came in for the raffle permit?
No, it's actually, someone from, I don't know if she was from Veterans Helping Veterans, or I think she was from Veterans Helping Veterans. They're doing a raffle, they're selling raffle tickets ahead of time, I think. And they're raising funds to financially support access to therapy dogs for veterans to reduce suicide. So it looks like a great event. They're having a guest speaker from Veterans Helping Veterans and a raffle to be held after the hike is complete. So. And this was the Eversource one. So Eversource sent me an email letting me know that they are sending out their disconnect letters where they disconnect people from their services. They haven't done anything since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. And they're letting people know that they have to act, and or they're gonna shut their power off. So they sent me like some things for assistance. So if anyone needs,
Did they specify how many people are in jeopardy?
they didn't say how many people were in town, or even if there were people in town. I think they sent me to everybody.
So much for data money.
Yeah,
You think that'd be a pretty simple query, but
Voluntown has 6 residents.
Yeah, they
at
didn't
risk.
let me know how many people, but they just said they were sending the, disconnect out, and they sent a list of their programs for assistance, and their name was in Spanish, so if anyone, or you know anyone, I have information.
Hmm.
And last but not least, Connecticut DEP is having a, please join representatives, it sounds good, actually. Please join representatives from the Connecticut DEP Division of Forestry and Division of Wildlife for a guided bird walk in Patchogue State Forest. Natural resource managers from DEP will lead RSV, yes, RSVP, attendees on a tour of several different forest stands where we will identify songbirds by sight and sound. We will also discuss the past forest management of the selected stands, the forest management planning process, and how wildlife biologists and foresters work together to achieve desired habitat goals. Bring your binoculars and sturdy footwear. This is Saturday, May 4th, rain date, Saturday, May 18th at 8 a.m. And the meeting is on Kinney Road. I didn't attach that. It's kind of funny. To put them here. It's probably one of the parking areas off Kinney Road. Doesn't have an address. And if you're interested in going, I have been for you can have a copy of this.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
My girl was like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can make a copy if you want. I can put it on the bulletin board, whatever. I don't think that's all
No, that might be good for the library as well too.
I have. Okay.
Good for me, copy.
Yeah. That's all. Anyone else have anything?
No.
Okay. Public Works report, we've been working on the budget for next year, trying to figure out what we have left in the funds for road projects right now. They've been prepping Ground Road for some road work. They've been working on Pin Beach. We got sand put on, we got some new sand put on there, and we're in the process of replacing the buoys. I'm just waiting to hear back from DEP, the boating division on the guidelines I have for buoys are from a long time ago, probably like the 70s or 80s.
I was just gonna make a joke about 1987, but
Yeah.
okay, even older.
No, I think it is like the 80s or something, like when we had a lifeguard, 80s or 90s. So I'm waiting to see if they updated their regulations before we go and buy per those. So I think they've started mowing, mowing time again. So that's what we've been working on.
We were gonna, we discussed, asking the guys to look into the cost of a self-guided mowing thing for the field out there.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't done that. It's not anything that. I don't
Oh,
think-
it is budget season.
Yeah, it's not something, we have a lot of like stuff that we actually really need. So we haven't gotten to a list of things that might be a good idea. Cause we're
Like
still.
a fancy robot
fancy
one.
road. We're still working on getting the loader that we need for the salt shed and find a new, the new pickup truck just to get around in.
Sure.
Not a big
I
load.
understand that, but just analogously, I'm sure, you know,
Yeah.
economics are entirely different. You know, I have a Roomba that I use for my house. I
Right.
paid $400 for it. I've had it for 3 years. I run it once a week. It takes about an hour and a half for this to do the house. I figure my time is worth, you know, like $20 an hour, so
Yeah.
forth, so on.
Right.
At, you know, $30 a week times two, it's $1,500 in the course of a year.
Yeah,
You know,
you've more than broke even.
yeah,
Yeah,
more than
I
broken
can
even.
look into it.
It's,
Yeah.
I'm just curious at what they cost, you know, because the real simple, you know, boy, that would make really good sense, or boy, that's a really incredibly dumb idea, Jeff.
Yeah, it's been, you know, like.
Because it's probably gonna be, you know,
Everybody knows the answer.
People, cats and dogs, and kids, so it's probably not a very good liability idea, but. That's my
right
first
there.
thought, but. Yeah, that might be what actually happens.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, with the new playground, that was a good idea.
Okay.
So, finance report.
Tony, sent his report for the last 2 months, since he was behind. For February, we got, 17,000, 145 in investment income. You want me to read it all or just have you guys read it?
Now we've read it.
Yeah,
You just-
and we've got 15,000 for the next month. And he's, committed to
And
budget.
year-to-date total is?
Year-to-date total is
126K.
Yeah.
141, 259. Yeah, that was February's grand total.
And then March.
Flip the page. You have another page second to March,
Ah,
so.
okay.
There's more.
Thank you, Billy Hayes. Yes.
The problem is gonna be that, when interest rates go back down, that income's gonna go away, but the
So
price pressures aren't going down.
he's looking at other options, like possibly moving it into CDs and whatnot, which will help for a short period of time, but not. And I submitted the expenses that we spent here today, so far, and then the rest of the stuff we can go on, that's on the budget.
Tony did tell me today that there's a budget item in for paying for courier service.
Yeah.
Yeah. we can
Because
explain
he's
that.
gonna be changing possibly the banking relationship so that, you know, we don't have a higher compensating balance, earning a lower interest rate, we can get a higher interest rate, and just pay for the service a la carte. Who's reaching that?
Yeah. All right, so that's the finance report, old business ARPA funds. So
How much more do we need to spend on the office funds?
this is on
There's
in your packet.
I don't tell you exactly how much I have.
ARPA funds. So we just ordered the radios, so we're just waiting for those to come in and the bill to come in. The town planner, we've already done, Uncas Health, we've already done, Open Gov, we've already done. The pavilion,
And this is, on the town planner, this is year 2 of the town planner, right?
yeah.
So next
Yeah,
year,
we already did it.
We're done.
We're done with that, so it's on the budget now.
so now it's on the budget for next year.
Started last year.
Yeah.
This current fiscal year, 23, 24.
Yeah.
Budget year.
Yeah.
Okay. But, okay, awesome.
The Open Gov is already done. The pavilion is, not done.
That is reallocated to the, you might want
Yeah, we're gonna reallocate that, today to the Gate Street project. And then recreation, Constitution Field, that's done. Public safety, that's the firehouse, that's still ongoing to be paid. Uncategorized is what we're gonna talk about today, that's a UTV.
For the fire department or for the
For the
town?
fire department.
Okay,
So what's going on is the state budget, the 2-year state budget that passed last year for their bond package that the state does. It's like a wish list of what everyone in the state wants, and it's always more money in that wish list than the state actually has in the bonds to spend. So it's like a political thing to try to get your project on the bond commission agenda. They haven't met all year so far, and I don't know if they're gonna meet, they're in set, like the state's in session right now, so I don't even know if they meet during session. They might not meet until like June. So the only way you can get your project on the agenda to get voted by the bond commission is the governor has to put it there. So,
It's skip sport.
so our
Speak up.
representative,
call.
our representatives both know about this, and they've both been working to advocate that it gets on the next agenda. I actually called, the lieutenant governor, and talked to her and asked her to get it on to talk to the governor for me to get it on the agenda, and she said he would. But that's when she reminded me that there's a lot of people that want the money and the odds. It's not like she was saying, no, I won't ask, but it was like, I'll ask, but you might wanna, she said we might wanna look at other sources for the funding because.
We might be low down in this.
Under the alphabet.
Yes.
So she did say she would talk to him about it, but I don't know when they're gonna meet again. And the fire department was really hoping to have this UTV for the summer, which is our busiest time when they really need it to get in the woods for rescues and emergencies. So
Didn't they used to,
they have one right now, but the one that they have is not, it's not theirs. It's, Demus Region 4, which is like all of Eastern Connecticut. It's a shared asset, which means that we hold possession of it. So it's on our insurance, but anyone can use it at any time. It was bought with, funds from federal funds for high, like, I don't really know how to word it, but
Crowd meeting.
yeah, for like high crowd problems,
control.
like for events.
we have an issue with
It
crowd
was
control
kind
with
of
volunteer.
used for, it was, the purpose, the money is used for like terrorist safety for crowds, like to get, have fast responding to crowd, crowd
What
terror.
is the U in UTV stand for? The terrain vehicle.
Utility,
Utility.
Okay, so this is like a little,
ATV.
So it's, depending on the manufacturer, it means it's a side by side
This
rather than
one
an
is
individual.
Actually,
And it's probably at least a 4 or a 6 seater.
yeah, I have
So-
actually the description of it.
But UTV takes you from, typically means a side by side. So
Oh, here.
it's 2 across.
This is a full-size rear, Polaris Ranger. 100, 900, and 570 series 4x4 and crew models all share 1,000-pound cargo bed capacity and a sophisticated wishbone suspension in the rear, which is great for smooth rides for John Q. Public on the weekends, but not so great if you do not like your public safety vehicles to squat under constant weather pitch thing. So it's kind of like it's like an ATV, but this one comes, like they order a special body holder.
Mm.
So if they have to use it for a rescue, they have something to put the person in to get them out safely. And it has water, something to hold water in case it's something they need water for. And it comes, it has they're gonna pay extra to put all the safety lights and features on it that it needs for nighttime. All that stuff. There is a need for this because they do get a lot of people that get hurt in the woods that they can't get to with a vehicle, and sometimes it's hard to get the person out once they get to them, so.
This is what, like 3 generations ago, didn't they have a Humvee?
They still
They still have
they
the
still
Humvee?
have a large vehicle similar to that. It's not the same exact one, but it's similar, and it can go off-road, but it still can't get into any of the, it still
Yeah,
can't
it's super
get
wide.
where, yeah.
That doesn't go between trees, that takes trees down.
Yeah, that can be used for stuff out there, but not for if someone fell down a rocky area and they need to go get them and bring them out. It wouldn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the plan is to reallocate the pavilion? Oh, no, that's going to the
We're
Gate
gonna,
Street.
so the plan is to
Hmm.
allocate the what's line with pavilion to the Gate Street project, which
Yeah.
is like the Gate Street, like the park area or the park project.
Gate Street playground.
Yeah, the Gate Street playground. And what's uncategorized, we want to assign to the UTV.
Do you need a motion?
Because it wasn't just the UTV though, it was the UTV and
All the accessories
the UTV, the accessories, and hold on, I gotta find
and the
it.
tools?
trailer.
The trailer, yep, the UTV accessories. There's a couple of lines for that, the UTV tools, the UTV and the UTV trailer.
So let's refer to all that as the UTV package.
Sure.
So do you want a motion?
Yeah.
I make a motion to reallocate the pavilion 51,200 to the Gate Street Playground Complex and to, move uncategorized to the UTV package.
Any more discussion on that or questions?
So
I
I
have all the price listings for everything. You might have it in your house.
have no doubt they've done their due diligence.
So all in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed, hearing none, it's approved. And that's the last of our ARPA.
I asked a question of ignorance. So if the fire department does a rescue in the forest, how are they reimbursed by the state?
I think that's what they say the pilot money's for. But it doesn't, again, the pilot money doesn't even,
Yeah, no, how much are we getting pilot for the state forest at this point?
we are getting on our
On the budget?
budget.
We're getting 333, 732 total, but that's not broken out, that's
It's not, yeah,
just what's for the forest.
yeah. There currently isn't a way for us to do that, to act like to bill them or do anything like that. Because they'll say that's what the pilot money is supposed to compensate for that, but it clearly doesn't, because we're clearly underfunded for that, because the pilot funding would cover. It's supposed to go towards like, if a taxpayer was paying, it's supposed to go towards like what we're missing in tax revenue from like, if it was a resident versus.
The reason why I
state.
asked this question is up in New Hampshire, they have a safe hiker. It's not a badge, it's a safe hiker permit that you can buy to cover your cost of rescue, because you have the people that get into the whites and they get lost and they're.
Who have no business being in.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
they have to send out a search and rescue team, and these things can run anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000. And if you don't have one of these safe hiker licenses, the state will go after you for the cost of your
Right.
rescue.
Yeah.
So, it's all well and fine that the state expects the volunteers to go out and go save somebody's rear end. But other than if they get in an ambulance, it's supposed to be charged them with $550 charge for an ambulance.
Yeah, I don't know what their, fire department's policy on that is, but that would be a question that probably ask them, how they do that. But I think it would be for like the ambulance, however they bill for the ambulance. I don't even know how they figure it out for that.
Well, maybe we should. And I know you're busy and you don't have time to do everything. But maybe that would be something to talk to Brian Lanui and other Summers about.
Yeah, oh, they know because we bring it up, the fire department, and I brought it up to them every year, and that's why that's why we tried to get the state to pay for the UTV, and that's why they got it in the bond, because we're using that to rescue people on state land, like, that's why they should be paying for it. So they know that, they've heard it from us, we're saying it all the time, so, that the way that your angle on it is different from what we've tried, so we could try that, but
Yeah, but that sounds like that's a state program, not a town program.
right,
And a town program to do a safe hiker equivalent permit to
we take staff and everything.
going into patch us.
State loves more staff. This could be a new program for the DEP.
They're so understaffed right now, it's ridiculous,
I know.
but, yeah, I know, it's something we've been trying to get the state to recognize that it's volunteers that we have, and we're gonna have to start switching to paid rescue staff, because we just don't have people signing up to be volunteers anymore. So it is gonna be an issue further down the line, and the state knows, because we push for it, so. That's why we push for more pilot money, and that's why we push for them to supply us with equipment. So, but you can see it's even hard to get.
Tell them, the other options now. Next time somebody's got a
You
problem,
can't,
call 911.
yeah,
The
well,
state police can come.
the thing is, the fire department it's their responsibility to rescue people in their jurisdiction, and if they say that they're not gonna respond, that gets them and the town.
Oh, yeah, I can see that blowing up in a real bad way.
It's what they sign up for. They have to. It's not an option. So it's you can't say that you're not going to. It'll take their like license to rescue and put it on someone else, so. It'll take the control.
Well, it's all
completely out of
fine that, you know, somebody's told you have moral obligation to do this,
Yeah.
doesn't mean also they have a moral obligation to provide the tools.
No, it's not a moral obligation, though, it's contractual, it's like, that's why it's. You have, you know, when you have the jurisdiction over the town like that, it's contractual, it's not, you
Sure.
have to do it. It's
Well, in the
not-
states, the moral obligation to provide the tools.
Right,
Yeah, I understand.
right. So. All right, where
So
are
we
Fort Hill Bridge,
we? Okay, I have no updates on that.
Gate Street Playground Committee.
That is on the agenda later. So they picked a consultant and to help design the playground. So we're gonna award that later in the agenda. For municipal ISD.
You know, the
Uh,
aspirational.
Municipal complex improvement project steep, we are waiting for the electrical work to start. I don't really know,
Yeah,
he
waiting
was
for that.
supposed to be here last week, so we're
They
waiting.
finished the seating on the grass.
Yeah, they did that. So we're just waiting for the next project to start.
If we could spring for a dandelion digger and leave it in Julie's office, I'll dig the dandelions. I want to done. Sign checks, I do that
Oh,
every
it's
week.
not for that
Yes, that's,
dandelion?
and I did not put that in my job description, okay?
Get out. I'm like, those aren't gonna smell, I'll keep them in there. Ordinances, nothing, trip grant,
Ordinance, flight ordinance,
oh, yeah.
my favorite.
I did read through your homework, Jim.
I didn't have a chance to read through it, so I'm sorry.
So the one thing, so this was the town of Lisbon, I'll give this a quick summation. It was a,
Vehicles.
yep, dead vehicles. They claimed, it was a junkyard, but it was, going back 5 years more. From the first time that the ZEO stated that, it was, 2016, so long, eight years of this was the saga. And this is the town decided to sue this individual on multiple occasions. And it was, what was the thing that, really, I was like, I liked most of it, but there was something here where, oh. So the court interpretations come down to the court found for the town on one count and found against the town for 2 of the counts that they sued on. And it's just the complexities of trying to use the court system to do blight enforcement is 8 years, and they won 1 out of 3 claims over an 8-year period. And it ends with the individual owes, as of February this year, owes almost $14,000.
So the court costs and all that time would have
Oh,
cost
and-
way more than that.
All plus court costs. So the individual's on the hook for a $10 per day fine going back to 2020, plus court costs for the town. But it is unlikely that the town will see a dime of that based on just this individual and their story and their situation. The town's not going to see a dime. And he's got 6 months to move forward, to finish cleaning everything up. And it looks like he removed 1 or 2 cars out of like 10 over the 8 years. And there were multiple court orders too. You've got 8 weeks to do this. So I don't know if this would help us much in terms of,
Enforcement.
and yeah, but some of the things that I did like that this pointed towards were if the town of Lisbon had better town ordinances, that they were better written, then that would have given the ZEO a lot more ability to do stuff and impose the fines much earlier, which may have had better effect, because the fines didn't come into play until February of 2024. And the ZEO started filing complaints about this residents in 2016. So it seems that this is a strong case for town ordinances if we want to go that route, which I think bears more discussion.
Okay.
So that last sentence was my very long-winded point to make.
Alright.
As an update.
Yeah.
The house across the street.
Yeah.
From the post office.
Yeah.
One next to it that has the dumpster.
Yeah.
They decided to start throwing out sofas and washing machines too, so. The collection's growing
And
But it's into the dumpster.
next to the dumpster.
Well,
I don't think Waste Management's gonna pick up a washing machine and that's.
yeah, so
So-
one of the things that from the court decisions here that stands out is going after individuals, if there are ordinances, going after individuals for willful public nuisance. And the junkyard and junk washing machines would definitely fall under that. So I don't think it would.
Were those ordinance under the town or were they under like zoning or like?
So this, the court decisions references both.
Okay.
State, CGS,
Yeah,
Connecticut General Statutes, as well as town ordinances.
okay,
So it seems like town ordinances would greatly help a CEO. And the court decisions, the two that were against the town, not against the town, but found that the town did not make their case, were due to lack of ordinances.
Okay.
So if we want to do something, and I'm on the we want to do something side, that we do need, it doesn't have to be a comprehensive, here's our current town ordinances, we're adding this much. No, it needs to be a couple of good ones. And then ZEO would be able to do something.
so what would good ones be? Because you have to also think too is someone leaving there, everyone, like you even looking dwelling right now, there's people all over town with free stuff in front of their house. Like, is that gonna be considered public nuisance and?
Well, per statute, you can define something, there's junk is defined in Lisbon regulations as any worn off, cast off, or discarded article material which is ready for destruction, has been collected or stored for salvage or conversion to some use. And somewhere else in here, it mentions X amount of time. So yes, an ordinance could be written that would exclude the free cycle people. Saying, unless they leave it sitting out there for 6 months and then it's not free cycle, then it's their part of the problem.
Okay.
So I think, yes. We could do something without going,
Making it like completely look like we're trying to regulate everyone's private yard.
No, the idea is not to become a home ownership association.
Well,
right,
this is why if you look into like past town meetings and past stuff, blight ordinances never go through because no one involved, people move to Voluntown for their own property, their own rights. And when you start telling them what they can and can't do on their own property, it doesn't go very well. So, and even if you say, well, we only mean if you have 5 cars and not just 2, or we only mean if you have, like, you have to be really careful how it is because people aren't gonna, it's not gonna go over very well. So we'll go from having no one at a town meeting to having everyone there and we're
I
gonna be.
understand your point, but if we go to the extreme, then you don't do anything, which is where we are right now.
Right.
Just do whatever you want, and
Well-
that's why we have the Woods Home process.
Well, we can put together whatever we want, but they still have to vote on it, and nothing's ever passed before, so.
Maybe, this is all I'm asking, is just give the people a chance to talk on it and vote on it. And if they decide that they're not interested, fine. Then anytime, next time somebody complains about something, you had the opportunity, you did nothing with it. I know Brazil tried to do this and Harris Johnson and that whole ilk came out with that mess that is down at Petrillo's gas station, so or something.
And they own property in town too.
Yeah.
So, it's the same. So, it's not, there are people that want it, but it's never passed before, so it's not gonna be just a normal town meeting, so.
No, we won't have it in here.
No, I think the time to do it is when we do the referendum on the budget.
Yep, the annual town meeting.
That's
It's
when
not
you get
gonna
the,
happen that fast for our annual town meeting this year. So this would be like next year's town meeting.
I understood, but I think we need to give it a try again, rather than say, no, it hasn't passed before.
And we might, and you know, if this is something that we're gonna do, we're probably gonna wanna have a committee of residents on here doing this. So it's not just looking like we're trying to push this down on everyone too. If we have, if it's a blight committee or something, even like 4 or 5 people just from all over town that wanna be on it. So it's not, it doesn't look like it's something that, oh, the Board of Selectmen.
Just force this on us.
Yeah.
So, yep, no, yes, I agree.
Because you guys are saying that other people want it, so where are those people and do they want to be on this committee? Or are they gonna not want to be on the committee because then it'll be them, not us? So I just don't want it to look like we as the government are trying to do this,
Understood.
so.
Okay.
That's
so we need 5 people or 4?
probably 5.
Jim, you got a list?
And anyone watching, if you're interested in, let me know. And we probably want people from all over town, not just problem neighborhoods.
Yep. So you said no trip grant, SIP grant?
The trip grant, yeah, I'm still even getting the 2 grants mixed up. The trip grant is,
That's the sidewalk grant.
okay,
We're working on the bid for that.
yes, we're working on the engineering.
That's for the bridge over here on Main Street, right?
Where
Well,
we
all
have,
the way up and past it.
because we got around over $900,000 for the project, and the town's portion is the engineering part, so we have to pay for the engineering part. And where we want to do from, I think the liquor store, all the way to Town Grill is ideally where we want to do the sidewalks on the other side of the road.
Oh.
On the other
Sorry, you
side.
threw me off. I believe you mean Riverside Mall,
What did I say?
Yeah.
Town Grill.
Oh.
It's the same place. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I'm like, what did I say? You never know what's gonna come out of my mouth.
So there was like, where the hell is Riverside Mall?
So
Sign in front of Town Grill.
So the goal is to do the sidewalks on the other side of the road because there's houses there and the kids have to cross the road to get to the school. There's no sidewalks there. So technically that crosswalk we have is not a legit crosswalk because there's supposed to be sidewalks on both sides of the crosswalk. So that's our goal, so that's probably what we're gonna get the engineering plans for. But when the whole project comes together, we don't know how much sidewalk we're actually gonna do. So if it costs too much to do that part, we're gonna just do a section at a time. And with the grant, we'll do the part where the sidewalks now end, and just put it on the other side of the road.
Yep.
So that the sidewalks continue. So there'll be sidewalk on one side and then cross the road and sidewalk on the other side. And then when we get the money, we'll just do it up the other side. Because the whole goal is also to do part of the plan is to do sidewalks down Church Street too. Not Church Street, Pendleton Hill, Preston City. So that it then connects to the brewery, so that people can walk from the brewery to the park, from the park to the brewery to Town Grill, so that it just connects the whole town. So.
Okay.
So just in pieces, not reflection for that grant.
We're gonna have the sidewalks a little further than 6 inches away from the.
Well, they have to
Speeding
go
limit.
where they go, which is.
Whatever the DOT requires.
Yeah, it's because they're all state roads, so we have to fit the DOT too, so.
Then we can put it in speed.
That'd be good.
That's another update. Oh, I forgot that in the announcements. I can talk about that after. The SIF grant, that's the water. So we're waiting, we had to put that on a pause because we're having communication issues with, DECD, who is the state section that's overseeing this grant, and we're just trying to get the steps done so we can progress.
This is the community wells.
This is the community well, yeah. That's where that is. And back up to correspondence and announcements. I forgot about it until you said DOT. I heard from the DOT about the school zone signs.
Oh, I was actually gonna ask you about those, yeah.
The school zone signs have been approved. So the state, like top DOT, they engineered maps for where the signs are supposed to go. There's additional signs are coming in. They reviewed the signs that we have. The signs, the crosswalk signs that are up now, the ones with the flash lights on them.
Yeah.
We have to take the lights off and take the electricity off, and they said that was our responsibility, but I'm pushing back on that because those aren't our signs, those are DOT signs. And I asked them, I'm like, who does that? Like, the Public Works is not, they're not electricians. I'm not gonna send them out there to take the lights off the sign. Do I have to, can any electrician do that? Or do I have to like hire a sign person? Like, and they were like,
Be a sign certified electrician.
I don't like that. So I asked the DOT this and they're like, oh, that's a good question. I don't know. And then they're like, I'm like, and they're your signs. And then he's like, well, if there are signs, then our DOT electrician's gonna have to inspect them. I'm like, can't your DOT electrician just come and like take the light? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. So I'm working.
You know, if someone with a really nice battery powered Sawzall happened to
I don't
come
know.
on by,
So that's part of the plan is like, they were saying what we're responsible for and which is like pretty much everything. Because we have to put the sign, we have to put the school zone signs up, but we have to put them where they tell us to put them. So that's the state DOT. They're supposed to send me the maps and they said I had to get permits because I can't do any of this without a permit from District 2 DOT. So I called district and he's like, you can probably start that process. And I was like, okay. So I called District 2 DOT to find out about the permits and everything. And they're like, well, we can't do anything until we see the map. And I'm like, okay, but can I fill out my permit forms for like, so I can do the work? And he's like, well, we need to see the map first. I'm like, okay. So I haven't gotten the map and I asked, because then DOT, the state higher up DOT called me again, like this week or last week, I don't remember now, to tell me about one of the other requests I put in. And I asked them about the map. I'm like, do you send the map to District 2 too, or do I have to do that? And he's like, no, you have to. And I'm like, well, how do I get the map? Does it come in the mail or am I waiting for an email? Like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, well, it'll be an email. And I'm like, okay, then can you just CC District 2 in the email so they get the map too? I'm like, I don't know really what's going on.
Not my job.
definition of Kafka-esque. We're stuck in a loop, nothing can be accomplished.
So I didn't get the maps yet, and so I'm waiting. So that's where that's going. That's still going. And so then he called, the same guy, called me again about, I put the request in for the speed limit sign, the speed limit from the Rhode Island border to the blinking light to go to 35. Because currently it turns, if you're coming from this direction to the Rhode Island line, it's 30, maybe 25 through here, and then 35,
No, it's 30, no,
30.
Yes,
And then when you get to,
just before River 70.
yeah, when you get to Luciano's house, it turns to 40.
and then right
And
at
then
Robbins, it goes to 45.
45, and then
Yep.
it's 45 all the way through. So they,
And we want to change all that to 35?
yeah, that's what I asked. Just because that's people, I asked for that, to slow down the trucks and to slow down the traffic and the accidents. So
We still have that accelerator zone right next to Robbins Cemetery.
On road.
No, wait, listen. So I put the request in and they had to do a full like traffic study, like a full, they have like, it's kind of cool.
Do they have a map?
No, they didn't have a map, but listen, they have these cool things that they do. We're gonna be here all night. It's,
You picked a good one, Ian.
they check. It's called US Limits 2. It's like this like federal program that they use.
You had a handout on that.
to figure out.
US limits too, yes.
It figures out like, based on the curves of the road and like everything on it, like what the speed limit should be. And he goes, according to that, the speed limit should be 60 to 55 miles an hour. I was like, please don't do that, please don't do that. So they said no. They said no to the speed limit change. They did say that that whole stretch of road has more accidents on it than roads in other parts of the state that are similar. So it does have, and they recognize that it does have more accidents, but they said,
It set speed limit to 65.
but they said it's a minor arterial and a major collector road, which is meant, those roads are made to get people from one place to another fast. So they're not gonna slow down. And they asked me if I agreed with their decision, and I said no. Mostly because, at least through the downtown area where there's a lot going on, like people are pulling in and out of Town Grill and Bronson's and 49, Shetucket, like right there. There's just too much going on for it to be, I think, 40 miles an hour. And then up by the Rhode Island border where we have a road that pulls out on the side, Beachview. I think it's
Yeah.
Beachview.
Yeah, BG, sorry.
It's a blind, it's a total blind pull out, like you can't.
Yeah, because it's not a 90 degree, it's
Yeah.
like an extreme angle coming
And cars
uphill.
are flying through there and you don't have enough, even like our plow drivers are like, you, even with a plow in front of you, you can't, you just kind of like, well, no one's coming, like, because you can't, if they're flying through there.
Yeah.
So I said because of those reasons, I didn't agree with it, so. But that would. Those are my updates on the road. I still have out there the red light at the intersection of 49 and Shetucket and like a red light there. And
Yep.
I put in for a 3-way stop sign, down by Lavender Hill Farm, the Alpaca Place.
Wasn't there also the option for, Shetucket Turnpike to narrow the accelerator
Yeah, I
zone,
talked to
so,
them. It was, it's way back before I was here. I don't know if it was when Bob was or before that. They had a plan to narrow, you know, you mentioned how we're at Robbins, it like widens up really far. And
Yeah.
that just gets people speeding up down and around the corner. And I did ask, they had plans to narrow that down and do like sharpen up the curve at Shetucket.
right, the Shetucket comes down like this and they want to bring it round,
They had
so it's a
plans.
90 degree.
They had
Stop sign.
plans to do that, and I found them when I was cleaning out the office, and I called and asked them, like, hey, listen, I found these plans. Is there any way that that we can get these back up? And they said no, but I can't remember why. I can bring them back up again and say.
Okay.
So, that's the deal.
So DOT is the
We're good
definition
ideas,
of
go to die.
government hell at the state level.
Well, that's why it was, because last week, News Channel 8 was here about the trucks.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw the news.
I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Oh, we were on vacation in Pennsylvania and we saw that
Oh, you
news.
saw that?
Oh, yes, yes,
What
yes.
did you see last night? Did you see Channel 3?
last night.
It was News Channel 3
Oh,
for Beach Pond. Because the bill for dual enforcement, it passed the Environment Committee and then they sent it to Public Safety and it passed Public Safety. So now it's going out to vote. I think it's going in the Senate first, but it has to be called up to vote. And it hasn't been called up yet and they only have session until like May 9th. So it depends on if it gets voted or not.
if it doesn't get voted, then it dies
Dies.
and that's start all over again.
Yeah,
Yep.
next year.
Kind of like DOT.
Yep.
And of
That's what I
course,
do.
then Rhode Island has to do this as well too, and Massachusetts.
Well, I only
So
care
not in
about,
our lifetimes, is basically what,
no, I only want Rhode Island, so that's
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, draft of the 24 budget, 24-25 budget.
Right, how detailed do you want to go on the budget? So the way that, Julie has the budget is, what we did is every board, commission, department, we had them submit their request, and under the requested, 24-25 requested, this is all of their requests. So this is like the wish list budget. It's not gonna, we can keep it like this, or we can go through it and figure out like if we want to cut anything or add anything. And that's where the numbers will be, right now they're the same, but that's where the numbers will be changed if they are to the approved part. So
So,
I don't know
Do
if
you
you
want me to
want,
go through each section and what the changes are? Do you want to read it over? So we have a timeline, fairly,
yeah, we have a
tight timeline.
I can say the timeline saying that. So what we have, this is our process is to, today is to go over the budget and hopefully, unless we need more meetings, keep looking at it. So today's the budget review. The public hearing to present the budget will be May 7th. The special meeting would be, May 13th, which is a Monday, because I don't know if the Democratic town committees have this, but the Republican town committees, we have all of our caucuses that week. So,
I'll tell you,
I have a caucus on the 14th. I don't know if it's for Senator Summer, for Senator Linear, but that's why I'm asking this, which I'm meeting the Monday,
Bill in there?
Representative Linear.
You
Getting
wish.
tired. So that's why I would ask to switch the meeting to Monday. And that would be to approve the call. And I also have Data, which is the company that we work with for our road maintenance. I asked him to come and give a presentation to you guys and to the residents about like our roads and how much money we really need to be putting into them to make them ideal. And he's either gonna come the 7th to 13th or even to the town meeting. So we're hoping the town meeting on the 21st. And then I've told the residents since I've been here that if there's gonna be an increase to the budget, it'll be going to referendum, and without a doubt, we're having an increase, so it'll be going to referendum. Unless you guys decide you don't wanna do that, but it makes it a little more challenging. Last year, all the towns that had referendum votes all failed. But the way our budget is, a lot of the things that are where it went up are because of costs going up, not because of, new things. So. And Julie can go over it for you guys.
Well, as far as I can see, generally speaking, other than the overlay, it's really not that far off from what the question is,
Yeah,
public works, and, you know,
everything's just getting more expensive.
Yep,
no inflation.
Right, most of our changes are just, cost of living increases, simple, our bills are going up, just like every other bill is going up.
So we had some staff changes, some of the staff increases, like, the town hall aide, position was only 10 hours a week. We're doing it 20 now, because we have the need for the more hours. The assessor change,
Nobody's supporting the assessor, so we're not having an assessor and assistant assessor at the town hall aid.
May 26th is our focus,
of the years of leaving.
but that's, if I'm reading this correctly, that's just for nominate single town rep, registrar voters and JPs.
Oh, so you don't, you must have caucuses where, like, if you have anyone, if you have anyone running for Senate or state rep or,
Right, so state level,
yeah,
this
the
is,
state one.
yeah, we did discuss, I gotta find it, but we had discussed, delegates for that.
Yeah. That's when all of ours are that. So unless you have any questions,
You want me to talk?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Like I said, the main changes is, minor changes to like the town hall aid, simple things, the cleaning, the payroll expenses, cost of living increase for, the employees. You guys need to decide on what that's going to be, what are you gonna choose for 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever. We need a decision on that. Early voting obviously is going way up, so the salaries for that, increased. The treasurer, if we're switching banks, what we'd like to do is add the hard cost for Frank to pick up the cash to the budget, so that we don't have to, right now, we have to keep a certain amount of money in with citizens to get that as a compensating balances, and then we get the breaks free, so to speak, by keeping so much money in there, so they can invest the money. We'd rather pay the hard cost, so we can invest the money, so we can take the money and put it in others. Public works, mostly it's equipment repairs. Our loader is on its 8th year now, even though it feels like we just bought it. Right, so the repairs are going up on that. The cemetery mowing, they've got other, the cemeteries they've added to the list that need mowing. The guide posts, we're way behind on that. We get a lot of people that keep asking why aren't ours changed. We only have a very small budget as it is. We can barely get, a couple new posts put out, and we've exhausted our budget already. So that really needs to be increased. Tree removal, obviously, there's some big trees that still need coming down. The fire protection, budget, that went up 20%. That's one of our biggest increases. The rec commission has increased the first time in probably since I've been here. But they'd like to add a family fun day, so they have more, events that they're having. The biggest ask here is the elderly commission. That's one you guys need to decide on that. And then if you look at the end, under low tips, you'll see the low tip is now included. So that's 36,000. Technically it increases the bottom line of the budget down by that amount, but the revenue for what the state's gonna do is like county roads. They're not gonna give us the revenue for that every year. And we have to expense it every year. So we have to put that in our budget to show that we're spending the money. We have to do the report, just like county roads. So while it's going up 36,000, the revenue is going up 36,000, so it doesn't affect our mill rate. Bottom line, it looks like it increases our budget line. And
So
then
so that comes in as a matching state grant?
it's not, it's just like county roads. So before, what used to happen is they had, a certain amount kept at the state, and when we wanted to do a project, we wait 2 to 3 years, so we have 2 to 3 years worth of most of money saved up, and then we put in a request, and they treated it more like a grant. You put in the request, they approve the request, and you did the project, then they reimburse you for it. So now, instead of doing all that paperwork, they're just giving the money once a year to towns, and the towns have to put in the budget and show how they spent the money.
Mhm.
So it's a little easier, better system, I think. Insurance actually has been, only 3%. And we made a few little changes in the town hall, so that's gonna probably stay closer to the same, so we don't have to increase so much there. The workers' comp is still extremely high this year. We've had 2 big cases the last, couple of years. We're hoping next year that that'll finally go down, but right now it's still gonna be high. So bottom line, that's why we're still at, 8.5%. There's not a lot I can see, most of these are costs we're gonna pay no matter what. We can cut them out as much as we want. But you're still gonna pay the cleaning fees, you're still gonna pay for, there are some things you could try to cut down on. So elderly commission and cost of living, some of the things we need to.
For this proposal here, is this at 3%?
There is one change I made to the recognition. We had originally, our porta potties were at $300 a month. So we passed around to different companies and found one, so that cost is in half, the 160 a month rather than 300, so. We were able to bring that one down a little bit. The building inspector, they switched to different companies from OpenGov to PermitLink, and that cut that cost in half, so that saved about $6,000. So we're trying to find some of the stuff we have in here to try to, IT will be, our contract will be up in October. So I think this may be a good time to go out to bid to look at other companies to see if we can cut down on the IT cost.
Yes.
Revenue wise, not a lot of increase in the revenue. The, brand list basically remains flat. If you see it, what the 1 mil of 233,734 last year, now this year is 233,923. Really wasn't much change, even though the housing costs went up. Our, for whatever reason, the evaluation numbers for the cars went way down. And the school's budget right now, they haven't passed theirs. This is what their current one is proposed at. I'm sure, or I don't know if that'll change by the time we get it or not. So we're looking at a 1.8 increase with everything that's in the budget right now. And we are negotiating the public works contract. I don't know when that will be completed, but that will change some of the costs as well.
And this is also with the school's, budget based on $281,689. They're still working on their budget too, so that could change.
Right there at 7.7, does it see?
4.1.
4.1%, but yeah, so that budget's at 7.3 mil.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so 5.7 and 5.13 for meetings on this next step.
Well, the first step is approving this budget.
Yeah.
So you either approve it this, or we have another meeting where we approve it.
so this is presented with a 3% cost of living for staff. So we're gonna keep it at that. Think to decide that.
Well, 3% is somewhere to start. Say the senior center is something that's just not within our means. It's spoken with Casey earlier about, what other options might be available other than just renting space in Riverside Mall. I didn't realize that Sterling had their own senior center.
Sterling does, as does Griswold, which a lot of our residents use.
They go to both of them.
I don't think that this is an appropriate time to spend more money on something that it's a want as opposed to a need. And I know that someone would see that as a need, that, we need something that's local and closer and so forth, so on. But that would be the first thing that I would look at. Cutting.
What would that change? If it's 40K, right?
It's about 1/5 of a mil. Over 220, right?
234.
1/6 of a mil.
Yeah, with 2/10 of the middle of the 1.6. So we'd go down to 7%.
No, gotta start somewhere. At least that's 1 foot forward. We know that it's gonna have to get cut. Would be cut more.
But it's difficult to figure out where places, I mean, public safety, you can't cut there, they need.
Yeah.
They need, that's our biggest increase. Public works,
And Public Works,
we're already
we're
at the bottom of the
struggling
barrel.
trying to get roads done for the next budget, it's, and even when Beta comes to explain the process, you don't want to just focus on fixing the bad roads, you also want to maintain your good roads too, so they last longer, so part of our management plan includes that, so in order to save money in the long run.
So for saving money in the long run, does it make sense to look at expanding public works?
I don't think that's possible this year, that might be something to do.
Not this year, but I think we need to start discussing that.
There is something that we've been floating around, trying to figure out, we didn't put it in this budget, I don't think we did. Julie, the rec.
No, that's not in here.
Yeah, this is probably for either to add or for next year, but as we are growing the playground and the park area, we see strongly that there will be a need for like a rec supervisor to oversee the management of the parks, the mowing, the
Yeah,
equipment.
they requested
maintenance.
to have more help with mowing.
Mowing and doing like the municipal areas, like the sidewalks, the,
Library.
So rec supervisor plus, would that be in place of an additional public works?
yeah, because they
person?
would be doing some of the stuff that Public Works would do now. Like the mowing of the areas here, the sidewalk maintenance,
The
the,
library has requested somebody to help with maintenance there, which is not.
Well, if we focus just on the mowing, I mean, even if it's 100K for the robot,
yeah,
that's
And even
then,
the,
one year or some cost and.
yeah, and to manage the senior van that we were supposed to get in April we haven't gotten yet, so I don't know when it could come any day now, but.
In April, okay,
So we're anticipating a van that we're gonna need to, figure out a schedule for and all of that, which the intent of the van was to get residents to the other senior centers, knowing that we don't have one. And this can pick, if they wanted to go to the Griswold Senior Center for a 10 o'clock program on Monday, they can call and say, can someone come pick me up and take me there? And the van will do that, pick them up at their house and take them to the senior center, so. That's what the plan of that was. So we need a person, right now, we don't have an agent for the elderly, I'm doing the responsibilities of that because our person, resigned. So we're hoping that this person would be a combination agent for the elderly, rec manager, and parks, well, not the driver of the van, just scheduling it.
Oh, okay,
They would just be like the office part of it, scheduling it and,
okay.
and we're hoping with all of those that it would be a full-time position.
Well, that would make it easier to attract someone.
And we're hoping that if we don't, we either add it to this budget or that would be next year's budget.
I think we're still in the.
We're still trying to figure it out.
What actually need, what the needs are.
So. we'll have
Okay.
it next year. And we'll have the new park, the new playground by then too, so. Because we are trying to get someone from the rec commission to also be a playground inspector. So that, they can, when we get the new equipment, inspect it and let us know like when we need to upgrade or repair or do anything to it, so.
So expect the playground done by next summer?
I think we're thinking we can get it done by fall.
Okay,
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
because there was a 12-year-old constituent who had asked about it.
yeah, I think we're hoping to have it done by fall. A lot of it's gonna depend on supply.
Okay,
So cost of living. Percentage.
3%.
Yeah, I'm fine with the 3%.
Okay. So those two, the only change is, well, the big commission, anything else you guys want to discuss or change or?
I think there are some contracts we can look at. It's not gonna probably affect the budget now, but going forward, there are contracts we can look at and go out to bid for.
But if we stick with 3% and, drop the senior center for this year, that puts us at 1.6. If we vote on that, tonight.
And I'd
right?
just like to say that 1.6, while it is extremely high, and I don't want to see that anywhere than anything else. When Tracy started. In 2017, we were 29.45. The last several years,
And we're at 29.57 right now?
we are 27.77.
Okay, 0.7, so.
So this would be 29.4, so. We managed to increase our revenues quite a bit the last few years, and while we have increased the budget the last couple of years, one, we had a revale 1 year, but we've increased the revenues between the pilot money and investment income and a bunch of other things. We've managed to increase revenue, so we've kept the mill rate fairly flat. We haven't really changed much, and because of this, now we're seeing the big hit all at once.
Yeah, because of the inflation and everything, and we haven't really counted much for that. We try to keep it down for COVID, knowing that people were having.
And there was 1 year we didn't have any increases for the employees to keep the money low, we've been trying to renegotiate contracts.
Yep,
Increase in the revenue, that's been our biggest source, if you want services, so I guess the question is, what services do you want for the town? What do you want to pay for?
so if we move the senior center and stick with the 3%, Tracy just said, contract renegotiation would be this year, those would be.
We can
future.
do them this year, but they wouldn't show up till next year.
The Apex expires in October.
Yeah.
So we could start looking at going out to bid and be ready for October. But I don't know if it'll be the same or more or less. I have no idea what the
Market is right now.
what the
Yes.
market is down.
Okay, so do you want us to vote on this now?
Yeah.
To approve this?
If there's no more discussion.
Do you have
then-
anything else that,
No, 3% and go to the senior center.
then I make a motion that we approve the budget as we just discussed.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the budget with a 3% increase and, taking out the request for the senior center. It's just not something we can
Do this
do
year
it
with
this
a big
year.
increase.
Yeah. We can add the senior center to the capital project plan, so that it's there. If we come across grants or anything for the future, it'll be there as a possible project.
Mhm.
And we can always add money towards it at a different time. And we can do that. So, any more discussion?
No.
Nope.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, hearing none. If the budget's approved, then we'll present it.
Okay.
So then we just have
The,
capital projects.
Yep.
So the capital, improvement funds, this does not, come out of the taxpayers, like out of the mill rate. It doesn't affect the budget that we just passed. This is money that, we have in our general fund, that's not allocated towards anything. And for our, general fund policy, we try to keep a consistent percent there, and Julie's gonna have to put 11% or 10%.
What's that? Say that
The
again.
money in the percent in the general fund.
Down to 8 to 15%.
Okay.
That happens.
So, to keep it within the 8 to 15%, we have, $410,000 that we can put towards capital projects. So the recommendation for the projects for this budget year, we have public works equipment we have money in there already. It's to go towards the salt shed loader and, a truck, for public work, like a pickup truck kind of thing. To get the smaller stuff around. So that's $50,000 towards that, project. Public Works garage needs, we're still working on the generator project and the diesel tanks and a whole bunch of other stuff over there. This money will go towards that. That's 50,000. And then 100,000 towards roads and road supplies, and the road that, Public Works would like to start working on, is Brown Road. We have some sections of Brown Road there. And this project would be taking funds from, the rest of this year's budget and next year's budget and, county road. Because to do what they would like to do on Brown Road, we are looking at for single chip seal, 105,000, and for the prep of it, which is the culverts and the curves and all that, is 83,000. So the 100,000 would go towards that.
Okay.
And then for the school, I'm still waiting to hear back, but they did mention the need for a new generator over there. I haven't heard if they officially want us to add it to our capital projects, but I'm getting the idea that they do, so I'm waiting on that. So that would be 85,000.
Is there any requirement in the multi-town emergency action plan that would require this? Or-
No, because the multi-town emergency plan uses Plainfield High School as the place, so it wouldn't affect us.
Just out of curiosity, what's wrong with their generator?
It doesn't, I think it's like all outdated.
It's on the roof, it's outdated.
It's on the roof, it's outdated, trying to see if it can work.
Not really sure.
I don't think they actually explain the report what's wrong.
When is it ever operated?
It actually is used, when the power trips, it's used quite often. I've been there a couple of times in the summer, sometimes the power will, it's like when it's hot out before school, that the power will trip. And it's one of our shelter places, so if
I
we,
understand all that. I'm
if
just
we
trying to
had
understand.
anything, then it's just something that it's, it's something that you spend money on that, are you gonna use it a lot? Who knows, but if an emergency comes and you don't have it, then it's a problem, especially when that's your, yeah, especially when that's your shelter and your showers and all of that for the town, if something happens, so. That can be a question for Adam, what's wrong with it? I'm trying to see.
How old is it and what's wrong with it?
Is it 20 years old and you can't get parts for that model, or is it 5 years old and the paint's chipping?
I think it's all,
It's
I
not
assume
5
it
years.
is,
I
that's-
know it's not 5 years.
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely not 5, I think it was like, I don't know if that generator, there was a time, I think when Gil was the first selectman, that there was like a whole bunch of generators that the town got from grants or something. The generator for the firehouse, the generator, for, I don't know if the school came from that too. But.
so that was Julie's
90s,
first
maybe?
selectman up until the early aughts,
Might have been 90s,
90s or early aughts.
so. 32-year-old, that's right there, 32-year-old generator.
Barely broken in.
And it's on the roof, which I think is like out of code now.
So is that part of the $85,000 they have
That's
to
what the
build?
$85,000 for the generator.
But
I
if,
don't know.
if it can't be on the roof, they've got to remove that generator from the roof and then what, build another building for the generator or
I'm-
just an enclosure?
They're just asking for, it's just $85,000 in their plan. So
Yeah, that's Adam's question. I know he has it all.
he's got it all planned out.
Okay, so it may not just be a generator, it may be getting the old one off the roof,
And they still have a meeting on May 9th, so they, like I said, they didn't say if they definitely needed that or not. They made it sound like they did, so we can put it in there, and we still have, after the public hearing, we're gonna revote on everything anyway, so we can, if they decide they don't want it, we can pull it out after the public hearing.
So May 13th, you'll probably go down the final budget. I won't be here because my son's graduating from college, so I will be out there, but I will try to log in, and make sure the
Or we can
all
just
in all
do
paper and all that stuff.
the May 7th meeting is the special hearing. We could just have a Board of Selectmen's meeting right after, and we can go from the special
If
meeting.
that's what the school hasn't had theirs done yet, so.
May 7th, oh yeah, there's May 9th, that's right.
Yeah,
What time is the meeting gonna be? 6 or 7?
Well, the May 7th, when it's a regular, is that a regular meeting then? No,
No,
so we
No,
can
it's
do it
not.
whatever.
I would say 6.
you prefer 6?
Yeah.
I just need to know.
And so then public safety equipment, that's 115,000, and that is also on the other attachment.
Yep.
It's the Jaws of Life, tools, and the SBAC. No, not the SBAC, the SBAC next year. It's the
Yeah.
Jaws of Life, tools, and what else?
and the 100K for the ambulance.
Oh, yeah, that, did we put money for the ambulance?
Yeah.
I don't think we did.
50 grand.
50,
Yeah.
oh, 50, yeah, it's 50, 100, 100, 100, then the last 50.
All right, oh, here it is. So it's 56,640 for the Jaws of Life tools. $7,926 for defibrillators. That's to put a defibrillator in the town hall and to put one at, Townsville.
$28,000 is your February.
No, 7,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're gold plated, Jim, they're gold plated.
7,000 for two.
Okay.
And then the 50,000 is the first. That's 115, and then the 10,000 is for revale. We do that every year.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to vote on that, to move it forward to the public hearing.
Capital improvement plan,
Yeah,
so motioned. Move forward to the town hearing.
For the meeting on the 13th,
Yep.
there is a Volunteer Housing Authority meeting at 6:30.
they don't meet here. They meet at the housing authority.
So do you want to do that one at 6 too, or at 7?
We can do that at 6. I might, like, I sent the dates to Beta, so he might come as either as whatever to either of those dates. And I give him the time meeting too, so he can even come to to go over the presentation. All right, so the motion's been made. Do we get a second?
Second.
Made and seconded to approve the capital improvement plan. Any discussion?
Nope.
No, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Aye. All right, so,
Do you have voice left?
I know.
Just grab resolution time.
Yeah. So we have the awards of bid for the playground. The
Oh.
playground committee met and they reviewed the bids, and Childscape was selected. They recommend to award it to Childscape, so we just need to make a motion and award it to Childscape.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, so motion's been made and seconded to award the playground design to Childscape. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Hearing none. CIF grant.
Resolution starts halfway down at where you don't have to read the document.
Whereas,
Thank you for stapling these packets so I don't lose my page. It's making my life a lot easier. All right, just the bottom part. Whereas pursuant to section 32-285A, the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development is authorized to extend financial assistance for economic development projects. And whereas it is desirable and in the public interest that the town of Allentown make an application to the state for $250,000 in order to undertake the Allentown Community Water Systems Planning Study Phase 1 and to execute an assistance agreements. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Selectmen that it is cognizant of the conditions and prerequisites for the state financial assistance imposed by section 32-285A. That the filing of an application for state financial assistance by a town of Allentown is an amount not to exceed $250,000 is hereby approved. And that first selectman Tracy Hansen is directed to execute and file such application, and the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development to provide such additional information to execute such other documents as may be required to execute an assistance agreement with the state of Connecticut for state financial assistance if such an agreement is offered, to execute any amendments, decisions, and revisions thereto, and to act as the authorized representative of the town of Allentown. And that's it. Yeah,
Motion.
motion's been made and seconded to approve the
Resolution.
resolution for the CIF grant. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. And then we have a tax refund. Eric Andrew, Rockville Road for $71.58, and Emmons Charles, Brown Road, $171.30.
Motion to approve tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, of approving the tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, they're approved. Anything else?
Once,
Anything
or
more?
twice. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dan, did you have a question? Are you paying attention or did we lose you?
I was paying attention somewhat towards the end.
Well, you didn't fall asleep, so good job there.
Paid attention to like things that I thought were interesting. Like this playground proposal thing.
Oh, that's the old one, the new one's in the other.
Oh, don't worry, you and I will have conversations about finishing that merit back, so don't worry.
All right, so we have a motion to adjourn.
We did.
All in favor?
Second. Aye.
All approved?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? No? All right, we're done.
No.
Got it.
Bang the gavel, Tracy, bang the
I
gavel.
know, I forgot to go. I'm gonna